We still have just a couple of parts to make on this firebox. One of those is going to be a leg, or 4 of them. So let's go to create, and let's call it leg. And again, we're going to use the envelope as a reference. But for our 2D sketch, we're going to look at the bottom of this for our sketching surface. Now let's go back to projecting geometry. I want the outside of the envelope as a reference point. And I should probably be careful that I select just the envelope and not the front face, because that is just a 1/4 inch different. Not too bad, but it will make our drawing look cleaner if we just use the envelope. Alright, so the tubing that we're using is 3.5 inch square tubing. I believe it's 1/8 inch thick. Oop, cancel that for just 1 second. So the space in between here is, I'm going to make it 0.125. It seems a little thin. We can always change it if we need to. And let's look back at the bottom of this again. I'm going to space this out to be exactly 2 inches away from either of these edges. Okay, let's finish our sketch. We'll extrude this. And it is going to be going down. Yep, and we'll make that 18 inches long. Let's return, go back to leg, save, return, and let's place in 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Each of these, I'm going to turn the visibility off of that work plane, so I think it looks a little nicer when it's not there. And I may as well do it to the original one as well. Okay, I'm going to turn to where I can see the edge of this and the bottom of the box. Make a mate constraint with this edge of the leg and the box. And then I'm going to use flush constraints to say that these should be on the same plane. I can probably use my flush constraint here with a 2 inch offset. Ooh, better make that -2 inch. If it goes the wrong way, just put a negative sign in front of it. There we go. And then we have 2 more legs to do. So it has to be touching that surface, so there's a mate and flush here. Flush with a -2 offset. And the last one we can put on without any offsets, because after we make the mate here, we can use flush with both here, the sides, and here, the other leg. Okay, so now those are all assembled. And the last thing that we have, if we turn off the visibility of this front plate, just right click, uncheck visibility, if you look, this is just kind of floating in here, and that's not actually possible. So let's uncheck visibility of our firebox. We're left with just an empty space. We're actually going to put in some angle iron inside of here. So let's make a new part. Let's go create. Let's call it angle iron. We'll make a 2D sketch. We'll use that face for our sketch. I want to project the geometry of the inside of this box. I didn't quite get the inside. There we go. You may have to zoom in a little close to see where the edges are. And then use your rectangle tool. And this is 2" in width. And let's see if I have a note for placement. So I believe this is placed over, I want to say 4 inches. And at least we can always change it if we need to. So let's dimension away from this inside edge. 4. Oh, you know what? I messed something up. Let's make this 0.125. I forgot about how we're going to do this exactly. And then we will make a 4" here between the front edge and this. Finish our sketch, extrude, and come up 2 inches. Uh-oh. I'm going to undo that for just a second. There we go. Click the wrong part. 2 inches up. Good. Let's make a new sketch here. Alright. Another 2-point rectangle. Start at that corner. Go out this direction. Make this exactly 2 inches. 0.125. Extrude. And this time we're going to go to this back face and adding material. So that's one of our angle iron pieces. We're going to place the other 3 in and line them up. So let's open this file back up again, save, and go back to our assembly file. Place. There's angle iron. Drop 3 more in. Looks like we can turn off the work plane from out here. And now we just have to figure out how to constrain this. So we want this to be mated to the ground. Apply. And yeah, we can make a flush constraint with the front edge of this that's already grounded and this new part. And the last one, we have a mate constraint, mating this to the back wall. We're going to have a 4" offset. Okay, and we'll put 2 more just like that in the back. I'm going to mate this to this back wall here. I'm going to offset it by 4 inches. And mate this to this wall here, but offset it by 4 inches. And I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to have a hard time getting it too. See if tab works. Tab doesn't seem to work. I want to get the surface that's just on the other side. It's going to be really tricky to get now that's at this funny angle. There, I can get it. I want this surface mated to this surface. Apply. And it doesn't like that. Now let's cancel that operation real quick. Oh, I think it must be how I have this all constrained together. You know what? I bet I have to instead mate this surface to this surface. Nope, doesn't like that either. Alright, let's try one more thing. Here's our part. That's mated. That's mated. Let's remove this mate constraint. We'll delete that. We will instead constrain this to the ground here. Apply. And now that it's turned around, we can say that these two are mated together with the 4-inch offset. Unless it still doesn't want to work, in which case we will mate it to the other wall. We had the orientation off. Okay, one more. Or mate that edge to the back wall back here. We're going to mate this to this surface. And I just realized I haven't put in my offsets yet. So 4-inch offset there, 4-inch offset there. I'm typing in the number 4 and hitting enter is what you're hearing. And I'm going to zoom this out a little bit so I can say constrain, and I will mate. Oop. Lost it a little bit. Mate that to that with a 4-inch offset. And I just realized I have that kind of floating. I can't be right. Let's see here. So there's my part. That's not supposed to have any offset. So I'm typing 0, enter. That looks much better. Okay. Perfect. So now it's something for that firebox to slide on top of. It'll go right in. It has these tubes on top. They're actually inside the firebox itself. Those are going to heat up and let the air vent out. And we'll have the exhaust vent kind of come out through here. So we're looking good. Let's save our work.